Hey guys, how's it going? This is a video I've been wanting to make for a long time. Forgive me if my verbiage and everything's still a little slow. I just woke up about 40 minutes ago, but so I'm still waking up. So if I'm slow at any part, sorry, you can speed it up. This might be a kind of long video. I'm not really sure, but this is basically my story and my own personal experience on how Jesus Christ has saved my life. So I guess the best place to start would be at the beginning, right? So for anyone that doesn't know me, my name's Daniel Foster. I was born in Las Vegas, Nevada. I moved to Utah with my family so my dad could start his construction company when I was 3. I've been raised in a Christian household with really good parents. They've been so amazing for me and such an important part of my story and what I owe a lot of my success to. But I guess the best place to start would be at the beginning. So going to public school, especially elementary and kindergarten, I was bullied really bad. I remember the first day of kindergarten, walking into school. Before school had even started, I was trying to play with kids on the playground, and I think about 5 or 6 of them came and basically beat me up and slammed my head into a metal bar. And so I still have these scars on my chin. After that happened, I broke my chin open in a few different places, had to get stitches. That was on the first day of kindergarten. And that was probably the worst thing that ever happened to me, but it did continue for the next, I don't know, 4 or 5 years until I eventually got pulled out to do homeschool for 1 year, and then went back to public school in 5th grade. And that was really good for me. It was good for me to have that time away, and my mom helped me a lot through homeschool. Keep in mind, while this was going on, I didn't really want to talk to my parents or anything about it because I was honestly just embarrassed. So in about 5th or 6th grade, I started working out, and it was really good for me because growing up since a kid, I just wanted people to, accept me and love me. I felt like at school, I tried so hard. I just want to be anyone's friends. And I didn't really get that for a long time. So working out was kind of that outlet for me. It was something that was really good for me. I loved working out, growing my body, getting stronger. And it was something that was really important to me. So going through middle school, high school, I started to get bigger. I got into powerlifting. I did that for 5 years. I broke a world record on bench press, national record on squat. If you want to know the numbers, I did 393 on bench at 175 body weight. I did 555 on squat. So powerlifting was something that was really good for me, but the issue is that I loved doing it, but it was more of something I was doing to try to feel accepted by others. I felt like if I would powerlift and if I was this cool guy and had a nice car and all these things, I was like, okay, surely, kids will like me. Even though in middle school and high school, I did start to have a lot of friends, it was more of I wanted to just be that person that everybody liked because I felt like I had not had that for a long time, I guess. So I think it was 2022 or 2023, my parents got divorced. Originally, it was supposed to be it was supposed to be a good divorce, right? We sat down and it was supposed to be, we're splitting up, but we're gonna be good. We're gonna co-parent about this, and then that all kind of changed within the matter of about a week and a half. It got really messy, and I went to live with my dad, and I've always been close with my dad. He's always just been my hero. So it was really good for me to go with him, and the rest of my siblings with my mom. Around this time, when the divorce happened, I started to have like really bad anxiety. Like I'm talking about, I couldn't even get out of bed or do anything because I just have knots in my stomach. I couldn't do anything. And so eventually, I asked my mom, I was like, Mom, we need to do something about this. Like, I can't keep living like this. So I went to the doctor and I got prescribed on some anti-anxiety medications, otherwise known as Xanax for anybody else that does know what that means. But that it worked, right? But it wasn't good. I describe myself as somebody that does have an addictive personality. So I started taking them, and initially it was just supposed to be, whenever I felt anxiety, but I realized that when I took it, I felt good, right? I felt like my anxiety and everything went away. So I started taking definitely more than I should. And it got to the point where I started buying them, from different dealers and stuff, and that wasn't good, because buying those drugs off the street, you never know what you're gonna get. And thankfully I had so many people praying for me during this time, because I made a lot of stupid decisions and a lot of things that really could have impacted me negatively. Anyways, it got to a point where I was probably taking about 4 or 5 of these a day, and honestly, it was bad, because while I was taking them, I felt good, but when I didn't have them, it was just worse. And I remember one night, so now fast forward, I'm a senior in high school. Depression and anxiety were getting so bad, like it was bad, but I didn't want to show anybody, because I was just strong. I was powerlifting. I had all this stuff on Instagram. I can't be weak, right? So I kind of kept a lot of that inside, and it progressively just got worse and worse until I think this was November 2024, and one night it was just so bad. I was just like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I can't. I was so low and so broken, and felt like nothing was there for me anymore. And so I tried to take my own life. I took enough Xanax and enough NyQuil that I was sure that I was going to go to sleep and never wake up. And miraculously, the next day I woke up, and it was weird. I just felt kind of dazed out of it. I was kind of surprised. I was like, I don't know, why I'm alive right now. So I kind of just kept going on with life as it was. And then eventually it got to a point where I realized that with my addiction to the Xanax, it was getting bad enough. I had to, seek some help. So I went to my dad, and he was really good. We got me on a program. I started weaning off of them. I'm completely clean of them now, but it was a long process. And before that, I tried to quit cold turkey. And for anybody that doesn't know, the only 2 things that can kill you if you're addicted to them, you try to get off them cold turkey, is Xanax and alcohol, because of the way they work in your brain and stuff. You can have seizures and just die. And so it got so bad, that was when I finally came to my dad and was like, hey, I need help. Like, I might need to go to the ER. Like, that's how bad it was getting. And along with that, I was having a lot of other health problems. I went to the ER 2 times for pains in my stomach. Like, I had a lot of digestive problems and stuff that was getting so bad. Like, I'm never the type to ask my parents to take me to the ER. Like, I genuinely have a really high pain tolerance, but it was getting that bad that I was just worried. And it took a while to find answers for that. But throughout this, and after I started getting off of those and trying to better myself, I still had this hole inside of me. Like, I was trying to fill it in so many other ways, girls, material things. I was still trying to put on this image, because I felt like if I was accepted, I felt like that would fill this hole in my heart. And it never did. And it wasn't until a few months later, in March of 2025, which is just a few months ago, I turned 18, and a few weeks later, I was outside. And I always love swimming at night. Like, I really just like being outside under the stars and swimming. And I finally, just decided to pray. I also forgot to add this, but since a young age, my mom has always kind of told me I have a gift of prayer. Like, it was weird, but growing up, whenever they need something, like lost car keys or whatever, they'd be like, Daniel, can you pray for us? Because for some reason, God always answered my prayers. So prayer was something, even though I was far away from God, I always said my prayers at night, even if it's the same repetitive thing. I always still said my prayers, because it was something that was important to me, and I really did believe in God, even though I was living far away from him. I always kind of kept that close to me. And so I went outside, and this was the first time, I think, in probably about a year, that I actually really prayed, an honest prayer that was different. It wasn't the same repetitive prayer. And I was out in the pool, and all of a sudden I got the clearest, the only way I can describe it is supernatural, the way I heard God. And he just said, Daniel, I need you. Those were the 3 words that stuck out the most. There's a few other things I heard, but he was just like, you got to stop living for the world. You need to live for me. And it kind of all clicked in my head that, if I was really to that point that I didn't want my life, God had let me know that he did want it. And so at that point, I decided to give my life over to somebody that actually wanted it, somebody that was always there for me and was always looking out for me, even when I turned my back on him. And sorry, I'm trying not to get emotional during this whole thing. But it changed me, right? All these problems I thought I had, all these things I thought was wrong with me, all these ways I felt like I need to be accepted. It's like I finally had that person that really knew me and knew me better than anyone else and still loved me and knew all the wrong I've done, all the ways that I've messed up, and he still loved me. And that changes your heart. And from that day on, it's only been about 3 months since then, but I've had a really big change in every way. I started praying just for God to make me a better man, to get rid of these habits I had. I really wanted to do everything I could to be as close to Christ as possible, because that was the man that knew me before I even came into this world and loved me. And that was really the person that I wanted to be like. And so since that day, I started praying and reading my scriptures every day and doing everything I could to give myself and my time to God. And in exchange, he blessed my life more than anything else ever could have done. There's no way I can explain it with words other than saying, I never have felt as much joy or happiness or love or peace or any of that ever in my life until I kind of gave my heart to God. And I guess just the thing I leave you with is that it's real. The reason I want to share this testimony is because I hope by doing this video, I hope it can just be impactful to even just one person out there. I don't really care if anyone remembers me. I don't really care about the followers I have or anything else. I just hope that another, real story of how Jesus saved somebody's life could, impact somebody else. Because that's what I feel like my calling is to, help bring other people unto that. And none of it's for myself. It's like after I saw the change that he made in me, I want more people to experience that. You're never going to find fulfillment. You're never going to find joy. You're never going to find happiness. You're never going to find love in anything that's in the world. It's a temporary fix. And anybody that's been there, I think almost all of us have been there in some way, shape, or form. You realize that like it never fills that like deeper hole inside of you, right? And it's miraculous. That's all I can say is that it's miraculous. After I did do that, it's not to say my life just got better. Honestly, I had a lot of things that were probably some of the hardest things I've ever had to go through, but I had a different perspective, right? So my perspective now wasn't just, me being depressed and wallowing about all the stuff going wrong with me. It was that like God loves me and cares about me, and he wouldn't want me to be upset in my heart about anything that could happen to me. So a lot of really, really tough things started happening to me right after that. I was playing basketball. I completely tore a ligament and a tendon in my ankle the day before. I kind of got kicked out of my dad's. Not really. It's a tough story, but basically I wasn't allowed to live there anymore. So I had to move back in with my mom, but I'm on a bum ankle, so I couldn't even, walk or anything. So that was a really big challenge for me. And there's a lot of other things. I don't want to throw a pity party and go over all the stuff that's happened in my life. I just thought those were important things that kind of shaped me into the person I am today and kind of got me to the point. And I feel like, even in the scriptures, it says, Christ's power works best with the brokenhearted. And for a lot of us, it takes us having to get to the lowest point in our life for us to realize that he is the only thing that we have, right? You're never going to seek him or do any of that while your life is going great. And to be honest with you, I don't know any way that anybody could really live without him. I tried to do it for 17 years. Even though I went to church and prayed and stuff, I hadn't really sought to know him or sought to give my heart to him. And to be honest, like I said, I just don't know how there's any other way that we can live this life other than with him. And everything that I've done in my life, I thought was things that I was doing on my own. And little did I know, I had a lot of amazing family, a lot of amazing friends. My mom probably prayed for me more than anybody else. So if you're watching this, Mom, I love you. You probably in that way saved my life a lot, because there's a lot of times, honestly, I probably should have died at least 5 or 6 times by now, but somehow I'm still here. And that's what really proved to me that God does have a purpose for my life and a meaning. And so, yeah, that's basically my testimony. I hope this was impactful to you. I hope you gained something from this. Jesus saves you. Jesus saves people. Love you guys. Take care.